When it comes to God, you got a spectrum. It's people who talk about God on a spectrum. So God, let's say, is right here in the middle. And you got people who are far on one side or another side. All right? So I'm going to show you. You have on one side, which is an extreme, you have believers. On the other side of the extreme, you have doubters. This is what I realized. Oh, shoot, did I? Okay, it's fixed. Okay. Wow. Okay, so it's doing it differently now. So I'm going to show y'all. This is what I learned. You got two extremes here. When it comes to God, you have two extremes. God is right down the middle and center. On one side, you have doubters. On the other side, you have believers. Neither one of them are in alignment with God. Okay? Neither one of them are in alignment with God. Okay? So you have believers on this side. The challenge with believers is they don't know God. They believe in him. The doubters, the problem with the doubters is they also don't know if God doesn't exist. They just believe he doesn't. Both of these people are on a spectrum of doubt and belief. And both aren't God. This is the challenge with talking about God online. I don't like to talk about God online because of this reason. It's because some people doubt and other people believe, and I can't talk to either one. See, when I start talking about God, here's what ends up happening. I usually get the people to tap in who are either doubters or believers, and the believers just start to agree. Challenge with that is the people who just agree don't actually know. They just agreeing with me. They're not thinking. They're not considering at a deeper level. Exactly. You just said it. The doubters, they come in and they usually are the loudest. They just telling me about the fallacy of God and how this Bible is a tool for manipulation and that slavery was built on it and it's a slave system. And now I don't do that. I practice hoodoo, or I practice voodoo, or I practice this and that. And then they start talking about another belief system. Neither one of these is God. God goes beyond the spectrum of doubt and belief, and it is in the realm of the known. K-N-O-W. Now, the known world, when you know God, what's up? We back. We about to start going live on a regular basis. So, look, this is the deal. When you know God, this is the difference. Know means to be intimate with, to be one with. It doesn't mean to intellectually know. To intellectually know belongs to doubters. So some people even get very close. Here's the other one. Right here is the pseudo knowers. These are the intellectuals. These are the intellectuals. So the intellectuals are the closest to being in alignment. The ones who use reason. This is the logos of mankind. So people who are here are closer, but they're still not in the realm of God. So you got a vertical this way, but then you also have a vertical going this way. And here's the deal. There's a line that you can't cross unless you absolutely know. This is challenging for people to when we talk about God for people. God is not in the realm of belief and doubt. It's in the realm of the known. Now, how do you know God directly? The only way that you can know God directly is by saying these words. I am. Now, here's the problem with that. If I say, when you say I am, that's God, the mistake you make is you don't even know you carry beliefs about yourself and who you are that are not true. You believe you're your body. You believe you are your mind. You believe that you are God. This small self is God. You believe things still about yourself. That's the problem. On the flip end, when I talk to a lot of people who go into, when I was in church back in the day, and I would say, God's name, he said, was I am. When I say I am, where do I point? I point to me. So this in me must be God. It says the kingdom of heaven is within me. So that's what this is. Okay, so when I said that, problem is the doubters say, oh no, there is no God. I'm not God and nobody's God. Why does there need to be a God? That ends up being the question. Okay, so which one are you? Ask yourself this, which one are you? If you are one of these, then that means that you are humble to the process of always becoming. That's what, if you're one of these, you are humble to the process of always becoming. Because, remember this, you don't know who you are. You don't know who you are. You don't know who you are. In the Tao Te Ching, this is why I love the book. The Tao Te Ching says, he who defines himself could not know who he really is. It says the name that can be named is not the eternal name. So even when we say I am, that's not the eternal name. Even when we say universe, that's not the eternal name. Even when we say Christ, that's not the eternal name. Even when we say God, that's not the eternal name. Because the eternal name is never spoken. The Tao Te Ching also says this: he who knows doesn't talk. He who talks doesn't know. And the challenge with me as a teacher is I have to direct your attention to something that's unspeakable. So here I am speaking, but I'm speaking about the unspeakable. Monique, it's a reason for that. It's a reason. When you are called, so here's the deal. I was talking about this earlier. When you called to do something, it's 3 levels of activity or mind in the world. The lowest level is you are at effect. Okay? You are at effect to everything in the world. That's the first part. Next is you done being at effect. Everything's affecting you. You say, no, I'm taking control of my life. That is when you enter into phase 2, where you avoid pain and you go toward pleasure by creating pleasure. So that's when you are in your zone. You are keeping boundaries with this person, that person, this person, that person. Many people get stuck in that phase because that feels so good to be in control of your life. Okay, so now here you are creating your life, right? There we go. That's level 2. 98+% of people is in level 2. Level 3 is here's what I realized. It's divine duty. Divine duty has no arrogance in it. It is a path that looks ugly. It's a path that removes everything from you so you can't brag. Okay? It humbles you. Divine duty does that. Because God can't use you if you cocky. God can't use you if you think you know who you are. God can't use you. Okay? God can't use you. Why? Because if you are the flash, if you are the shine, if you the diamond, if you are the beauty of the world, then people are gonna mistake God to be you. So if the wise ones, what they say is this: I understand how people's minds work. Eyes and ears will deceive you every time. Therefore, I'm wise enough to stay here so when these miracles happen, when these beautiful, incredible things happen, they won't attribute that to me. I'm rugged and as common as a stone. That's why I love the Tao Te Ching. It says the master does not glitter like a jewel. She is rugged and as common as a stone. Why is that important? So that when the light shines through the stone, you know that's not the stone. That's something beyond the stone. See, somebody who is working for the divine understands that. This requires wisdom. Now, if I'm talking like this and it's not clicking, your teachability index is low. Your ability to learn from me is low. You want to be a teacher. Go on your own live and teach, if that's the case. And I'm saying that because I want to hurt your ego. If nobody's listening to you, it's a reason for it. People listen to people who get it. Okay? There we go. So here's what it is. When you realize, oh, okay, I am a, quote, leader. Life path number 11. I'm a leader. The Tao Te Ching, I love it. The Tao Te Ching says, the best leader is hardly recognized. Second best is a leader that's loved. Lastly is a leader that's despised. The great leader, when the great leader leads, the people say, we did it all by ourselves. We did it all by ourselves because the leader is so invisible to the point where the people don't even recognize who the leader is. They think they did it all by themselves. That's a real leader. That's a real leader. Why is this important? When you look on Twitch and you see streamers or you see people shining on IG, example. It's challenging to get an example because we don't know who they are. Let me give you an example. It's the best example I can give. It's the grandma humbly praying for her children and her children's children. Never says anything, never assumes a leadership position, but is the reason the family is where they are. That's an example of a leader who people hardly knows exists. They don't know that she's a leader. See, the kid go to the NBA, go to the NFL. He take care of the whole family. Mom raised him. But what did grandma do? Grandma had foresight. She understood the divine workings, and she been working the divine the whole time. She's the real leader. And the kid go to the NFL like, I did it, Mom. I did it. We did it. We did it. But he thinks he did it all by himself. He know he has some help, but he thinks he did it. Whereas the grandma knew it was not had nothing to do with her. Grandma knew it. This ain't me. It's the divine. This has been the divine the whole time. This is humility. This is humility. So, this is the challenge when talking about God. You have doubters and you have believers. A doubter is somebody who does not know. A believer is somebody who also does not know. The intellectual, the one with reason, the one who's using logos, is trying to understand, and through the bridge of intellect can connect to the knowing of the divine. This is the bridge. Where did I learn this? I'm going to tell you exactly how I tell everybody. In meditation. I went within to know this information. It's not information, it's a path. It's a path. So this is the reason. Look, this ain't church, but it's God. It's the understanding of God. Now, does the Bible explain this? 100%. The Bible explains this. The Bible explains this. When the Bible says the Greeks and the Jews, what are the Greeks and the Jews? The Jews and the Greeks. What did the Greeks do? The Greeks were the philosophers. The Greeks were the philosophers. And when the Bible explained, it said Greeks were philosophers. But find me one man of philosophy who understands how the whole thing works. Go find me one. And the philosophers did not know. And then you had the Jews. What were the Jews? The Jews were the religious men. They knew everything. Now today's Jews are not the people who just believe religiously. It's the New Agers who know everything. It's the New Agers who know everything. Oh, I know it. Yup, I'm the divine. I am God. Oh, I know this. I know that. You know everything, huh? That's a Jew or a Gentile in the Bible. The Bible explains these people know everything. And they condemn anybody who doesn't think like them because they have the right belief system. They understand. They always got something to say too. Notice, I'm not trying to make friends on this live. Whereas other teachers, they want to make you feel good. Come on in. I'll tell you what you want to hear. I'm not telling you what you want to hear. I'm trying to wake you up. Is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get you to wake up. Especially people in spiritual psychosis. What is spiritual psychosis? You think you know. That's spiritual psychosis. As soon as you think you know, you are in spiritual psychosis. As soon as you are ready to teach so fast, you're in spiritual psychosis. You should be learning. Majority of the time. You should spend 99% of your attention learning, observing, paying attention to your inner movements, seeing what's going on the inside. Not talking and teaching and telling everybody stuff. Watch yourself. Watch when somebody celebrate. I want to see you. When somebody mentions something that they succeeded at, how do you respond? Now, here's what happened. Immediately, you get a gut reaction to say something. Don't even say it. Recognize you had an instant reaction to say something. It's a defense mechanism. It's a defense mechanism. Pay attention to that in yourself. Do you always have something to say after somebody says something that they celebrate? Do you always have something to say to follow up with? Oh, me too. I did that. Me too. Do you always have something to say? Watch that. So the bridge between know and intellect. So the bridge between who you are at the lowest point and who you are at the highest point is absolutely intellect and reason. This is studying the laws or studying the principles of the universe. And it does not mean you have to necessarily study the Quran or study the Bible. What it means is study the laws, study the way things really are, is what it means. So to study the way things really are just means look around you and pay close attention. You can study science. I study mental science, Thomas Trower. I study the science of the physical sciences, the physics, quantum physics. When you study the sciences, what you start to see is reflections of God in everything. You can't perceive God directly with your intellect, but you can be it. The Tao Te Ching says you cannot know it, but you can be it. Knowing, in that sense, is not knowing with the head. Knowing, when it speaks about it in the Bible or in the Quran, is knowing intimately, meaning I am it. So when you can be it, this is the word, we can put the word be up here. So to be it goes totally beyond intellect. But the way to get there is through the intellect. What do I mean by that? So to get to the divine by intellect, you have to think. Everything is for me. The divine is here and doing everything for me. You have to repeat this and start to look for, how is this for me? Then you'll find it, and then you'll find the divine. This is how you do it. You have to speak the thoughts of the book. Let's say you read the Quran, whatever it may be. The beginning is read the book and start to ask yourself, if this were true, what is it trying to say? So I used to read Proverbs. Let me turn to it. Let me give an example. Let's just read a couple verses so we can get an example. It says in the book, a gentle answer turns away wrath, but harsh words stir up anger. Gentle words stir up wrath. Harsh words stir up anger. Pretty direct. Okay? A gentle answer turns away wrath. So somebody can be angry, and if I use the right words and they are gentle, it will turn that person away. Okay? If I use harsh words, it's going to make people upset. It's going to make people want to come down on me. Okay, I got it. The wise person makes learning a joy. Fools spout only foolishness. And you may say, okay, well, how is this getting me to the divine? First thing I need to do is just let me assume this is true. All right, let's assume that the wise person makes learning a joy and fools spout only foolishness. Let's say that that's true. Okay. Let me find one person who I think to be wise and loves learning. Let me just find a person who loves learning and see if they're wise. Let me go find a person who takes joy in learning something new and learning something about themselves and looking within themselves a little deeper and wanting to change a little bit deeper. Let me go find one and see if they're wise. Let me follow them around. Now, if it's true and I see that they're wise and they make wise decisions, sound-minded decisions, and the decisions lead to good, maybe it's something to this. This is thinking with the mind of God. That's how I did it. If you want to start somewhere, start with one of the holy books and see. But you got to test it out yourself. Let me read another one. The Lord despises the thoughts of the wicked, but he delights in pure words. Okay, what does it mean, despise in the thoughts of the wicked? How could God despise somebody? Now, I could go that route. Like, God despises? That's not God-like. I could go that route. But let's say, all right, I don't know what I don't know. What is it trying to say? The Lord despises the thoughts of the wicked? What's that mean? What's that mean? What I think it means when I consider it is, that just goes against the nature of the universe. Wickedness just goes against the nature of the universe. And what the response is from my actions and who I'm being causes an effect, because God is only being, he's not different, it's just light. But the effect that it has on me is that it may make me feel bad. It may cause some pain in my life. But who's causing the pain? It's actually me causing the pain. So who is God? God has to be consciousness to us. My own state of consciousness. So my state of consciousness despises the thoughts of the wicked. It hates wicked thoughts because it gives me pain. I could say that. That may be a part. There may be something to that. I don't know. It may be a little deeper than that. But you got to explore that for yourself. You got to explore that. This is what most people won't do. It's what most people won't do. I'm gonna tell y'all all day. I'm thinking about God and divine and what divine want me to do. And I realize everybody don't do this, and I don't think everybody will do this until they're ready to do it. But the only thing that I can do is think about the divine and what the divine want me to do. Why? Because it's a matter of time. If I don't do it, it's only a matter of time, and I'm dead. I'm done. I'm cooked. It's going to fall back on my head. Not after I die. I'm talking about in this lifetime. Go ahead and try to do your own thing long enough. The reason that your mind is all over the place is because you're not connecting to the divine. The reason that you feel negative and your energy goes down is because you ain't connecting to the divine. That's why. It say in the Bible, for instance, God hasn't given a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. I remember hearing that. Okay, so if you're in fear, you're not connecting to God at all. It's an easy understanding. But love, okay, am I in love with this that I'm doing? Am I loving people? Power, not weakness, power. Am I connected to power? Am I creating with power and a sound mind? Am I clear in my thinking? Am I grounded in my thinking? Does my thinking check out in real life? So love, power, and a sound mind. That's what comes from the divine. Okay. Check yourself on those three. This is just simple things you can do. Easy things you can do. But once again, if I just believe something, do I check myself? No, I'm believing. I just believe I know. That's what I'm doing. If I doubt it, oh, that's just bull. That's BS. He don't know what he's talking about. God's not even real. We're all this and that. Okay? You also not learning. But what if I use my intellect, use my reason, use my logic? This still answer your question, Nita. What is happening? I'm connecting to the divine by doing that. Now, what you'll find is meditation, speaking out loud to the divine, and following your gut instinct is all you need to do. That's what you'll realize. That's what you'll realize. Once you start to do those three things, that aligns your intellect with the divine. That's what it's doing. See, everything that I teach y'all is a trick. I'm tricking you. Okay? I'm tricking you to connect to the divine inside of you. That's what I'm tricking you to do. But you notice, I don't do it directly. I'm just showing you how it is, and your soul naturally does it because it's your nature. I'm only showing you your own nature. But here's the deal. Most of us don't know what our nature is. We think we're just humans. You ever hear that song, Only Human? It's so only human, I'm only human. What's that mean? Why are you disrespectful about humans? What's that mean to you? I'm only human, we're only human. We're only totally divine. Yeah, that's right. We're only totally divine. But why we say we're only human? Because you keep hearing it from everywhere. So you just listen to what people say, and you start saying the same stuff that they say, and 99% of people don't think. So now you just saying what non-thinkers are saying. Why are you saying only human? Like that's a low position. It's saying the Bible. You put the who is man that you consider him above even the angels? Who is this? Don't you see what they're doing? They nasty, dirty down there. So obviously the divine has some idea in mind. Why is that? Actually, in the Bible, it explains. It say the angels was mad, like they hating on mankind. God said you would do worse if you was in those bodies. You would do worse. As a matter of fact, it was proven the angels went down and consummated with the demons and with the people and demons. So once they got these fleshly desire bodies, they couldn't resist it. But look at you coming into a life like this. Look at you striving to expand your consciousness. Look at you continuing to press through these addictions. Look at you pressing through the sad stories you tell yourself all the time. Look at you. Where are you at right now? You and the live talk about the divine in a world that seems like divine is lost. Look at you. What that means is you're close to awakening. or you already are awakening, and this is accelerating the process. That's all it's doing. I can't do anything that you're not already doing within yourself. You are the divine within yourself. So it's only accelerating what process is already started in you. Now, how many teachers are going to tell you that? Not many, because they want your money. That's why. They just want to trick you into believing in them. I'm telling you to think about your own inside. I'm saying heaven is within you, so look in there. I'm not saying that here's another character outside of me. Here's the Jesus trap. People believe in Jesus because it was written in for them to do so. Jesus was a person. If it was a physical one, he was a person. That means a human being. Some people say, he was God in the flesh. Obviously. What you think you are. Everything is God. So what you talking about? It's the same. He said we brothers. So if that's the case, why aren't you acting like it? Because you don't believe it. You don't know it directly. How do you get to know it? You're going to have to read some books from some people who are wiser than you. One of those can be the Bible. One of those is the Bhagavad Gita. One of those is the Tao Te Ching. One of those is the Quran. One of those is the Torah. One of those is the Vedas. You can read any of those. You can read any of those. It's all for you. So, if you read the book and you actually participate in the book, it changes you. But if you read the book and you just want to believe or you're going to doubt, you're missing the point. It's not about believing or doubting. It's about reading and understanding and digesting as much as you can and applying it like a scientist. I'm about to apply to see if it works. How many of y'all meditating in the morning and at night? How many of y'all are talking out loud to yourself, out of your physical mouth, on what you want and speaking to the divine as if the divine is an invisible person? How many of y'all are following your gut every second of the day? If you're doing that, I know because you feel good. Babe, that was random. I enjoyed that one. I was so confused, y'all, when she talking about law of success. I'm like, I didn't even pull it out the first 3 times that she said. I'm like, you don't want to read that. No, you don't. I just didn't believe it. I just didn't believe that she wanted to read that. I'm like, you're lying. You don't want to read that. She don't want to read no book. She's super spiritual too. So think about it. Leisha all spiritual. She don't know nothing about business. Don't want to learn nothing about business. She talking about law of success 60. I'm like, no, you don't. I started reading it. She started loving it. I'm like, what? She loved that book. I was mad confused. Huh? That in the Bible. She don't even... Look, Leisha not even a church goer girl. She's talking about read the Bible to me. Like, what? Why are you asking for that one of all the books? It is so strange how she liked those 2 out of all of them. But when we break down the Bible, I'm telling you, the Bible is a... Boy, let me just go ahead and read a little bit of this, man. It's my favorite one. Because this is code. This is code. This is code. It's code. It is code. Nah, I ain't gonna break it all down tonight. We can do it another day. Y'all want me to break down the Bible a little bit? If you do, I can do it. I can do it. Yeah, I can start doing these if y'all want it. All right, let's do it a little bit. Let's do it a little bit. I ain't gonna go too crazy. All right, I'm gonna read Romans actually because I love Romans. I love Romans. So I'm gonna start with verse 8. It say, let me say first of all that your faith in God is becoming known throughout the world. Okay? I want to point some stuff out in these because I go slow on these. I want y'all to see certain things to point out. And this is y'all. It It says, let me say first of all that your faith in God is becoming known throughout the world. Okay? Your faith in God is being known throughout the world. Think about this. Your faith is being known throughout the world. How? How? At that time, God was a big thing. It was like AI. So, you know how China right now got electric vehicles and they booming. So imagine people who believe in God is booming like that. That's what it was like. It was almost like a fad. Think of it that way. How I thank God through Jesus Christ for each one of you. Now let's talk about this. How I thank God through Jesus Christ for each one of you. And what's that mean? What's that mean? I'm thanking God through Jesus Christ for you. What's that mean? Okay. How am I supposed to thank God? I have to do it through Jesus Christ. Now, if I think Jesus Christ is a physical person, the whole book just broke down. How am I supposed to do that? Jesus Christ is not physically here for me to be like, all right, Jesus, I need you. I'm thanking God through you. Now who are you talking to? If you're talking to anybody, it is your imagination, because that's where Jesus would exist anyway, because you don't know him physically. So in imagination, you would be talking to Jesus. Understand this. Neville explains that Christ, the figure Christ in the Bible, is actually your own human imagination, your consciousness. Now let's read it this way. Okay. How I thank God through my own consciousness for each one of you. Does that make sense? How I thank God in consciousness, with my consciousness, for each one of you. Somebody tell me if that makes sense. Which one make more sense? Which one can you actually do? I gotta set up this chair in my feet here. All right, let me show you this. Okay, let's do this. Now, he's thinking them through consciousness. This is Christ consciousness. What is Christ consciousness? In the Kabbalah, Christ consciousness is the spark, the spark of the divine. Okay, so let's keep reading. God knows how often I pray for you. Day and night I bring you and your needs in prayer to God, whom I serve with all my heart, by telling others the good news about his son. What's the good news? The good news is actually that all of you will awaken as God one day. That's the good news. The good news is, since you are God and all is God, you have to eventually one day awaken as that same God. That's what it means. So it says, day and night I bring you and your needs to prayer to God. I want you to also realize this is one of the apostles writing this, right? Now, which apostle was it? I don't remember. I think it's Paul. But this apostle is saying, I keep you and your needs in my thoughts. What this is pointing out is a karmic law. It's the law of karma, showing you that if you keep others in your mind and their need, secret code. The secret is, if you think of others' needs, all your needs will be met. It's the desire to share over the desire to receive for the self alone. In the Kabbalistic teachings, the desire to receive for the self alone is the darkness and is the cause of chaos. But the desire to share is likeness to the Creator. So here this man is saying, God knows how often I pray for you. Day and night I bring you and your needs in prayer to God. whom I serve with all my heart. Think about what that's like for you. All day and all night, this person is thinking of others. That is how you know likeness of the Creator is in that person. Next, one of the things I always pray for is the opportunity, God willing, to come at last to see you. For I long to visit you so I can share a spiritual blessing with you that will help you grow strong in the Lord. I'm eager to encourage you in your faith. Notice how all he's wanting to do is encourage others and give blessings to others. Question: how often are you thinking about others? This is all the desire to share. This is likeness to the Creator. Okay? If you want to know if the Creator's coming through somebody, look at how much they want to share versus want to take for themselves. You have to feel into it. You got to feel into it. Okay, next. I want you to know, dear friends, that I've planned many times to visit you, but I was prevented until now. I want to work among you. I want to work among you and see good results, just as I've done among other Gentiles. For I have a great sense of obligation to people in our culture and to people in other cultures. I want to point something out. When he says obligation, what makes him obligated? Somebody say in the chat, what you think makes him obligated? Somebody tell me. What you think it is? Do you feel a sense of obligation? What's the obligation mean? What could it be? Faith and belief? Could be. It could be. Remember, it's 3 levels. Honor, okay. Could be. Okay, let's talk about this. So, 3 levels. You got first level, I'm an effect to the world. Everything happening to me. Second level, I'm running away from pain and I'm running toward pleasure. Now, this person says he's a servant. He didn't say, yup, I'm doing what I want to do. No, he said he's a servant. To who? He said, day and night I bring to you your needs in prayer to God, whom I serve. God is who he serves. So he's serving the divine. He's a servant. So this person is not saying, I'm in control of my own life. Is he? Does he have free will? Does he have free choice? Yeah, of course. But he's chosen to be enslaved to the divine. So think about this. So he said, I got a great sense of obligation. What's that mean? That means he's choosing to do what he can feel God wants him to do in his heart over what he wants to do. Now, he is at the point, obviously, right now, where he feels good doing it. Okay, so look. For I have a great sense of obligation to people in our culture and to the people in other cultures, to the educated and uneducated alike. So I'm eager to come to you in Rome, too, to preach God's good news. What's the good news again? The good news is that you already are awakened. There's a version of you that is already awakened and fully immersed and fully synced up with the divine. It already made the choice to stay in the divine. So you can't come out of it. This is the good news. So that means there's a seed of truth in you that has to explode and manifest eventually, because it's already true in the depth of consciousness. This is the good news. It's not that a person died on the cross. It is that you are that person. It's really the spirit of who, the highest version of you, has died and is inside of you. It's already done. You just don't know it because you think you're a little human. All right, let's keep on going. For I'm not ashamed of the good news about Christ. It is the power of God at work, saving everyone who believes, Jews first and also Gentiles. This good news tells us how God makes us right in his sight. How does God make us, the lowly human beings, right in his sight? Easy. Because there's a version of you that has finished the work of your tikkun. It's finished the corrections. It no longer has worldly desires. There's a version of you, since there is no time. Quantum physics explains there is no time and space. So if there's no time and there's no real space, doesn't that mean that the final version of you must currently exist? Somebody answer yes or no. Okay. I gotta get the charger. Okay. So you notice it means it's referring to this truth that you already are awakened. Not the version of you sitting in the chair or watching this live right now on your phone. This is a physical state of consciousness. But if you go within, because that's heaven, you will recognize one who's aware that you are aware. Who do you think led you to this live? Which version of you? Which version of you think led you to this live? The one that just want to satisfy his own desires, run away from pain to gain pleasure? Which one you think? Exactly. Do you think you really had a choice? You had a choice, right? But what you think is influencing that choice? And what you think is going to win out over the other? The real version of you. It's awake, it's aware, and it's influencing your actions. It's you. Okay, let's keep going. God's anger at sin. But God shows his anger from heaven. Heaven is where? Within. Okay? God shows his anger from heaven against all sinful, wicked people who push the truth away for themselves. Okay? God shows his anger from heaven, which is the realm of consciousness. All is mind. Okay, all is mind. I'm going to break this down. Against all sinful, wicked people who push the truth away from themselves. Okay. What it means is if you keep lying to yourself, you're pushing the truth away if you're lying to yourself. Now, what's a lie mean? Let's qualify what the word lie means. A lie is you saying something that is inaccurate. Simple. A lie is you saying something that is inaccurate. Now, who's to determine accurate and inaccurate? It's like math. If I say 2 plus 2 is 19, that's inaccurate. That's a sin. I'm missing the mark. It's not true. Sin. I just messed up. Now, am I going to die for that? It's just a sin. It's just messed up. Now, let's say I'm trying to build a bridge, and it requires me to calculate correctly. And I use my version of math, where 2 times 2 is 19, because I believe 2 times 2 is 19, and I build this bridge on faulty math, because I believe in it. What happened to the bridge when a car go across it? Somebody tell me, what happened to that bridge? Do you trust that bridge? Somebody tell you, hey, this bridge was built on my belief system of what math is and what physics is. Imagine somebody tell you that. Would you drive across the bridge? It's like, I believe it should hold up. Would you drive across that bridge? Okay. That's sin. Simple. It's not a punishment. Oh, a punishment. No, it's not a punishment. It's wrong. It's inaccurate. And inaccurate calculations, if you build your life on inaccuracies, you have a bridge that's bound to fall apart. And that's what we're doing. The Bible is not trying to get you to just listen to it because it's telling you some kind of rule book. It's saying these are laws of the universe. If you build your life on anything other than the way things are, it's going to fall apart. It's not telling you that you have to follow these rules. Do what you want to do. But wisdom would say, I want to build this bridge on sound math and sound physics. Why wouldn't you want to build your life on spiritual physics and spiritual engineering? That's sound. Why wouldn't you want to do that? That is what the book is trying to teach. Okay, here we go. Now, so sinful and wicked. Wicked is also the same as sin. It's somebody who just believes. Won't double check their work. Don't care to double check their work. Just feeding into the desire to receive for themselves alone. I just want to be right, and that's all I care about. So, 2 times 2 is 19 to me. I got the right to say what I want. That's a wicked person. It's not a person who's just killing and slaughtering everybody. Although that wrong thing in their mind, the way that they see in the world, since it's wrong, can make them want to do that. That's what causes wickedness. It's just wrong. Okay. For the truth about God is known to them instinctively. Listen to this. For the truth about God is known to them instinctively. God has put this knowledge in their hearts from the time the world was created. People have seen the earth and the sky and all that God has made. They can clearly see his invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature. So they have no excuse whatsoever for not knowing God. First off, it starts off by saying the truth's been put in your heart already. You already know this. You know it instinctively. So the first thing, this is the first thing, thank you for the love, Lord. The first thing is, you know it. That's the reason why it can be considered a sin. If you didn't know it, how would it be a sin? Like, how can I get punished for that? Well, it's in your heart already. It's actually a part of you. So it says it. Let's read it. For the truth about God is known to them instinctively. You know this instinctively. Everybody knows it instinctively. But what do? We logic it away because we want to do what we want to do. You see that? It's known instinctively. God has put the knowledge, let me read this again. God has put the knowledge in their hearts. God has put the knowledge in your heart. You can't escape it. So you already know. That's the reason punishment is warranted. Because you already know. You're going against yourself is what that means. You're going against your own instincts. Although it's a lot of social media, it's a lot of TikTok that try to get you to dissuade you from this kind of thing, although you still responsible. Who you gonna follow? You gonna keep following what everybody else is doing? Because that's what you're doing. You're scared of criticism. Look, I know it's for me too. I don't want to be the God person. I just told Alicia today. I'm like, I did not want to be the God person. Because I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be like that. I told Alicia this. Don't matter what I want. I know what's correct. I instinctively know that God exists. and I have a moral responsibility to bring it to people in a way that doesn't run them off, so that they can understand it directly. So I'll use whatever language I need to use. I'll help you understand from whatever scientific perspective I need to do it, so that you can get it and not be run off and turned off by somebody trying to talk down on you. I'm not talking down on you. I want you to understand this the way it's meant to be understood. Let's keep reading. God has put the knowledge in their hearts. For the time the world was created, people have seen the earth and the sky. He's saying, look around you. Okay? All that God's made. They can clearly see its invisible qualities. They can clearly see invisible qualities. Can you see the quality of life in the universe? Somebody tell me yes or no. Can you see the quality of life in the universe? Is there life? Can you see that quality of livingness? Can you see that what you breathe out, the trees breathe in, and what the trees breathe out, you breathe in? Can you see that unity and that harmony in that? Can we all see that? We've been to science class. Can we see that? Okay. So what he's saying is, look around you. You see what's going on. You know there's an intelligence that goes beyond you. You're closing your eyes to it. And guess what? You have no excuse whatsoever for not knowing God. There's no excuse. So if somebody claims, I don't know God, I'm an atheist, I'm a this, I'm a that. Okay. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not trying to make a pig sing. I'm going to waste my time and I'm going to annoy the pig. I'm not trying to convince nobody of nothing. I'm not interested. If you want to believe, if you want to keep saying that, okay. I don't care that much. My life is going correctly. I don't care that much. You can keep your idea. See, this is why Christians, typical Christians, y'all notice I'm talking from the Bible, right? We teaching this in a way probably don't normally hear, right? But what Christians do, since they don't know their own book and nobody wants to listen to them, they shove it down people's throat, or they jump in everybody else's lives, and they go and they start preaching. The thumb, what is it called? Thumbprint warriors, the Twitter finger warriors come out. Messaging. On that, if y'all saw that video, go look at that video. The number one commenters are the Christian warriors. Keyboard warrior, there you go. See, you know what I'm trying to say. Okay, let's keep reading. A little bit more. Yes, they knew God, but they wouldn't worship him as God or even give him thanks. Ooh, come on, bruh. This will call you out. That's why I like the book. It call you out. It call you out. They knew God. They knew. You knew, but they wouldn't worship him as God or even give him thanks. And they began to think up foolish ideas of what God was like. Where do foolish ideas about what God is like come from? When you deny the reality around you. See, then we go, when I hear people say, whose God are you worshiping? What you mean? If it's only one God, what you talking about? What we saying? I remember my mom and dad used to argue like, no, your God is not real. No, my God is real. Your God. I'm like, yours, mine? If either one of y'all God was real, y'all would know that we're talking about the same one. And they would argue over that. It makes no sense. So this is where those foolish ideas come from. It says they knew God, but they wouldn't worship God as God, and they wouldn't even give thanks. So what happened? They began to think up foolish ideas of what God was like. The result was that their minds became dark and confused. There we go. If you wonder why are you confused, Go back to this. It tells you you're not recognizing God for what God is, and you're not giving thanks. Bro, the formulas are very simple in this book. If you walking around confused, I'm so confused. If you walking around confused, why is it? Let me show you. They knew God, but they wouldn't worship him as God or even give him thanks. Or even give him thanks. Okay? And they began to think of foolish ideas of what God was like. The result was that their minds became dark and confused. Claiming to be wise, they became fools instead. And instead of worshiping the glorious, ever-living God, they worship idols made to look like mere people or birds and animals and snakes. What does this sound like? Totems, right? I have an eagle totem. My spirit animal is an eagle. Or I have my spirit guides, all of my guides. Those are images in your head. You're making them up. They're up here. There are images of them. God is beyond understanding, beyond finding out, but we can see the results. Never worship a manifestation as God himself. Never worship an image in your head as God himself or herself or itself. Never do that, because that's foolishness. Let me read this one more time, all right? It says, the result was their mind became dark and confused. There's a lot of confused people about the divine. This is called psychosis. If you want to go in psychosis, just start making up shit. If you want to go in psychosis, you'll go in psychosis. God was like, or the result was their mind became dark and confused. Claiming to be wise, they became utter fools. Listen, claiming to be wise. No, I know. We had some people in the live like that earlier. They quickly left because they realized this ain't the live. Okay, but they wise. They know everything. You know everything. So claiming to be wise, they became fools. Look, if you claiming that you wise and you know, you're one of the fools. The book give you the game. The game is right here. Here it is. Claiming to be wise, they became fools instead. And instead of worshiping the glorious, ever-living God, they worship idols that was made to look like other men. So if you give it an image, if you can describe an image of somebody who looks like a man and you're claiming that to be God, don't that sound like this? He said, they worship idols made to look like mere people. People. So if you are worshiping anything that reminds you of a person, including Jesus, including Muhammad, including any person, it's an idol. It's an idol. I want to look up the word idol, but I can't. Because an idol is something that you idolize. It's an objective thing. Okay? Next. So, God let them go ahead and do whatever shameful things their heart desired. And the result, they did vile and degrading things with each other's bodies. Instead of believing what they knew was the truth about God, they deliberately chose to believe lies. So they worshiped the things God made, but not the Creator himself. They worshiped the things God made, but not the Creator himself. An image or representation of a God used as an object of worship. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Thank you for that. An image or representation of God. Jesus is an image and a representation of God. Don't worship it. Our bodies are even images and representations of God. Don't worship it. The universe is an image and representation of God. Don't worship it. Money is an image and representation of God. Don't worship it. Everything created in mind or physical is an image and representation of God. Don't worship it. Worship the cause that it is. This is the key. We have lost our way. We are worshiping the things. We are worshiping the created, not the creator. And look here, I want you to remember what he said. He said, instead of believing what they knew was the truth. Look, instead of believing what they knew was the truth. It's not like you don't know. You know what the truth is. Deep down. It's not, notice, this is not talking about the surface. It's not talking about the surface. What is said deep down. Alright? Instead of believing what they knew deep down, the truth was about God, they deliberately chose to believe lies. They said, no, I choose not to believe that. Even though deep down I know it's true, I'm choosing to believe what the science says. I'm choosing to believe what I think is right. I'm choosing to believe. Remember that word belief over here? Belief means I do not know. But the truth is, they did know. And you do know. But you're choosing to believe otherwise. Look, I'm telling y'all, if you keep acting like you don't know that the God exists within you at the deepest level, and that you called to do what God wants you to do at the deepest level, you are deliberately lying to yourself. Quit doing it. You will be lost in the darkness and confused. And if you ever wonder why you're confused, it's because the light's not there. Look, we ended the day. Look, look, we ended the day. What I want more than anything is for you to listen to the voice that is deep down inside of you, not somewhere else. I want you to feel deep down and listen to the deep down what's inside of you, God. That's what I actually want. I desire you to do that. But the challenge is, here you are. Let me read it again. Instead of believing what they knew was the truth, instead of you believing what you know to be true, not what you think to be true. We're not talking about thinking. I'm talking about you believe, you knowing, instead of believing what you know to be true, you're believing what you think to be true. Stop listening to your head. It's so many smart people in the world, man. They don't know any. If you notice that they don't know anything, they are the smartest people. They can create any technology, but they can't be happy. You can create all the technologies in the world for comfort, but you don't know how to have peace. You can create all the comforts in the world, but can't end the war. You can create all the comforts in the world, but can't unify. What's up? Are you that smart? If that's the case, no, you're not smart. I don't care what you can create with your intelligence. It's not wise. Wisdom is what's necessary. You understand? So, that's why God abandoned them to their shameful desires. Listen to this. That's why God abandoned them. When somebody feel like there is no God, okay, here's the reason. You have now found it. Anytime that somebody talk about, man, nope, it's no God. Really, God didn't abandon it. They abandoned God. That's what happened. They abandoned not just God, this figurative, but what they knew to be true. They abandoned what they knew to be true deep down. That's what they abandoned. I'm going to say it again. They abandoned what they knew to be true deep down and decided to believe lies. Notice, it's no relinquishment or responsibility here. You're responsible for all of the lies you're choosing to believe. Look, when you realize that your own consciousness is responsible for everything, and all God is the light, and it's you that needs to let it in, and God is the same no matter what, then you can start taking full responsibility. Stop blaming people. Quit blaming everybody. It's not them. It's you. You can let it in the light if you want, but you don't. Why? Because you choose to believe the lies. So if you say, well, the media lies so much. All the men lie, women lie, all of these people lie. Lie. Who lying? You can choose to believe it or not. Why are we talking about people who are lying? It's irrelevant. Because you get to choose that. If you listen to them or not, who cares if they're lying? It's irrelevant. Okay? And that's why God abandoned them. Where? To what? God didn't abandon them to the world. God abandoned them to their own desires. Listen, when you desire to receive for yourself alone, you desire to receive attention, approval, extra money, greed, accolades, attention, whatever it is. When you desire to receive for yourself alone, God will abandon you to your own desires. Not to the world, to your own stuff. Go ahead. Have sex with whoever you want to. Go ahead. Do what you want to do. Go run it up. Go do anything you want to do. God will abandon you to your own desires. But why? That's so mean. Why is he so judgmental? It's irrelevant. It's not about judgment. You're doing the wrong thing that you know not to do. That's the problem. We got to quit lying. That's the key. We got to quit lying. We got to quit lying. Because what we're doing is we acting like we don't know. We acting like we don't feel deep down or know deep down what that God is in actual reality. And we don't give thanks to the divine for everything that's happening. And then we wonder why stuff is not happening the way it's supposed to. So here's what I'm recommending you do. I'm recommending you take a step back and you start realizing what you've been doing to yourself. I recommend it. And then I hope that you take what you learn and you apply it. And you start giving gratitude to the divine for everything that's happening. I hope you do that. I hope you listen to what you know deep down is true. If you know the divine is sending you on this path, I know the divine is sending me on this path because I got stripped everything from me. That's how I know. Anything that had to do with my own vanity, my own ego, has been taken from me. It has been stripped from me. I'm so grateful it's been stripped from me. I don't want it. It's in the way. It's a hindrance to the divine working in my life, which always turns out well. All I have to do is give up all of the desires of the world, which only end in misery and treachery. It never helps. It always ends up negatively. Are y'all feeling me? So we could do these a little more often. If y'all want Bible study, we could do deep dive Bible study. And this is really the game. This is the game for real, y'all. This is the game. Good. This is the game. You have your own divine relationship, but it works the same way. Think about it. If you read that and you know it's true, Okay, stop wondering. Like, see, people go to science way too often. They wait for science to prove something that they already know. Why am I about to try to wait for science to prove God exists? I'm not, because I know it's true. It's in here. I don't have to wait for anything. I'm using the power is what I'm doing. I have no time to waste. I'm here for probably another 50 years. Maybe 50 years. Some of y'all are here for less. Some of y'all may be here for another 30, 20 years. And who knows how healthy you'll be for all the time. Get your stuff together.